Hey, we're here at an event in Provo, Utah, and my executive assistant has come across a property that he thinks may be of interest. So we're going to take a look and see if it's any good. I haven't seen it, I haven't seen photos of it, but I'm going to give my honest opinion as to whether it's got any merit to warrant further investigating or whether we should dismiss it out of hand. I'm kind of hoping it's going to be a really good deal, but we'll go and find out. So Colton, we've arrived here on location. You found this property. What drew your attention to it?
So we actually rock climb just nearby. We drive by this old abandoned building all the time. I thought there's got to be an opportunity here because it's open, and as you can tell, everything's going up in construction, so I wanted to run it by you and see what we could find.
Firstly, let's talk a bit about the building. One thing I noticed is that there seems to be water damage there. There's a downpipe. It's as if the water wasn't going into the downpipe, but that could be a minor thing. We want to check. It looks very straight. It looks old, and you can see there's all weeds that are piled up, and there's gravel everywhere, and there's dust and dirt. Some of the windows are broken. I see through this window, the front window, you can tell it's broken, but it looks structurally pretty sound. So the question really is, has someone bought this and they're going to demolish it and do something else with it, or maybe revamp this one? Or is it abandoned for now and it's just waiting for someone maybe like you and I to figure out an alternative use? So we've got to do some research, but let's look at the building. What I do is I eyeball it and I can see it's pretty straight. What I'm looking for is foundations that maybe have sunk down. This here broken window, that could be some street kids who just decided to throw a rock or whatever. I don't put any significance in that at all.
A basement area?
Yeah, I wonder if that's the whole area of the building, because if it is, that means this building could lend itself to many other uses. And as you know, Colton, I always look, what else can we do with this, right? It might still be great as a restaurant. It's probably got all the facilities there in terms of stainless steel benches and flues for the fumes to go out. But if it can no longer be used as a restaurant, might be a zoning change or something, might be great for storage, underground storage at this level. But you're right, you mentioned it before, but just looking at what we see across the way here, I am guessing probably 1,500 to 2,000 apartments that are going in here. That's a lot of people who are going to live here who are going to need storage facilities and podiatrists and dentists and restaurants to dine at. So this is like a captive audience that whatever goes in here, I think is going to have a given custom base already. I love it. So firstly, great find, well spotted. I can see in the background, and you probably know better, that's the main road. I think we've traveled up there a couple of times, is that right? So it doesn't quite have drive-in ability from the main road, but not far from it. Certainly it's got visibility from that road. Yeah. So whatever you operate here, everyone will be able to see, oh, there's a such and such there, be it a restaurant or a coffee shop or a takeaway outfit or whatever. Great find. Let's walk around the building. I'm trying to see if I can see a date on the fire alarm system there. I can't. There's a lot of trash here, which suggests to me that it was abandoned in a bit of a hurry. Yes. Oh, yeah, moving to the river. That is in Provo. So one thing would be to go to this location, Colton, and just see if there's a manager there and say, hey, we noticed that you've moved. You must have moved a while ago because as long as you've been around here, this has been abandoned. But would you mind sharing why you moved? And they might say they had to. He may not know, of course.
Yeah.
Or it was too small for them or too big for them, or there wasn't enough foot traffic.
And it was, these apartments are very recent.
Right.
These are sprouting up in the last year. So for 3 years, this area has been pretty dead.
Right.
So it could be that they ended during the dead season, but huge potential.
And the other thing I love is there's lots of parking space here. Often you find a building that's really suitable for a particular function, but there's no parking space, which means it's hard to get the clients to come in.
Yeah, there's a whole back area.
That seems to be separate. That looks like some water pumping station or something. I'm not sure if it is. But this would make a good drive-through area. Drive-through is becoming really popular. Ever since COVID, the number of restaurants that cater to go as opposed to dine-in has really increased. Some restaurants are, to-go food only these days. But those that cater to both are good. So you need lots of driver access, pickup access. Looks as though that whole glass door has been broken out. But I see no sign of activity. There's no sign saying pending a zone approval or anything. So I get the feeling that this has been...
drive-through.
Oh, no, they came this way. And that was the window.
Okay.
You see, but I think, well, we could use that, but you could revamp it and have it.
One thing that you mentioned that I think is really nice, you talked about visibility.
Right.
The sign for the restaurant's right there by this main road. It's one of the main roads in the city here.
Right.
You're going to get a lot of visibility, which I really like. The visibility combined with the new development is really nice. And the space, space is huge.
Oh, it's massive. You could probably put other buildings on it if you wanted to. So because of its visibility, I think it's more useful as a restaurant or some kind of food or drink outlet than it would be as a storage facility. I think the next step, Colton, is, if we'd found a reason why we shouldn't buy it, then we just abandon it, move on to the next one, 110.31. But this is sufficiently appealing right now that I think we should try and find out who owns it and what's the situation. Definitely, let's go to the current address of their new location and see if anyone knows anything there. Chances are they won't, but you never know. And the other thing is, let's go online. Let's look at the county records and transaction records, Zillow maybe, and find out who owns it currently and what they're doing with it.
Okay.
Good find. I'm impressed.
Awesome.
Yay. So Colton, full marks. You found a great property here. And when you first mentioned it, I thought, yeah, of course, we'll check it out. I didn't expect something with this potential. And full disclosure, we might look at 20 deals similar to this, Colton, and 19 of them will be no good. Either the owner knows that it's worth a lot and he's already got plans for it, he's waiting to sell something else and get his money and start on this, or there's 101 reasons why it may not go ahead. But on the other hand, every now and then we'll stumble across a building like this, and maybe the owner is elderly, he's in his 80s, he knows he doesn't have much time left, he just wants to get it off his books so that he's got a clean slate that he can hand over to his kids or grandkids or something. So they'll be happy to get rid of it. Maybe other people have put offers in and they've come up with crazy suggestions like, we want seller finance for 90%, or we'll pay you at the end of 10 years, and he doesn't know if it'll last that long. So it's a numbers game, like everything in real estate. I've said that to you often. So great find. I think we've got a number of steps we have to take now to find out what's next. Obviously, there's no sign on the building saying, going cheap to the first person to make us a ridiculous offer. So we've got to find out who owns it. There are many, many different ways of doing that. That's going to take some work. A lot of people are put off by the effort required when you get to this stage, when you find something that you think is pretty good, to find out who owns it and then contact them. And they might say, who are you? I don't want to talk with you. What do you do at that stage? Do you persevere or not? But when you do persevere, even if you put 20 hours into finding who owns it and you end up doing a deal, the return on that 20 hours could be phenomenal. It's that it's outside of most people's comfort zones. I, as you probably know, have no inhibitions about speaking with anyone. So I'll go up to them and say, hey, I understand you own this building. And they might say, no, I don't. Or what does it matter to you? So anyway, I think great find. Keep looking. You might find more like these. We may not make this one work, but we may make number 16 work, or number 4, or number 31. And, I'd say well done. And this is what the game's all about. It's having the courage and the temerity and the excitement to find weird things like this that aren't pretty, they're ugly, but they've got massive potential.